And you mentioned that there is hope in recovery from addiction, and obviously your characters have proved that. How do they accomplish that?
I know. Well, not everybody does accomplish it, but I'll stick with Molly in her case. She had to really hit bottom, and she hit
Mm-hmm.
bottom several times. And she really didn't want to get well for the longest time. She didn't care if she died, she didn't care if she lived. She just was existing, and the only way she'd feel better is by using drugs. But she finally, after many years, it was almost close to 8 years of her addiction, that she did overdose, ended up in the hospital, and was forced to enter a rehab where she had to stay. And ever so slowly, she had a good counselor. So, bottom line is, you get a good counselor to help you, and the willingness, you've got to want to get
Right,
better.
right.
So, she finally wanted to. She finally saw a little bit of happiness. And then all of a sudden, every day it would be different. She'd have more than one good day. She'd have a week of good days and good hours, and feel better about herself. And dealing with the fact that her boyfriend left her in high school, that she was sexually abused, and that she missed her daughter.
Well, I was going to ask you to go back a little bit on the sexual abuse. The sexual abuse came from.
Her brother Sean.
Okay.
Yeah, Sean was abused.
Mm-hmm.
So that is
Physically or sexually
he
or
was
both?
Sean was sexually abused, and
Really?
that's what he was suppressing.
Mm-hmm.
He was suppressing all the memories, and this is what happens. This is reality. This is what happens to sexually abused kids. He was abused, so therefore he abused his sisters, but he disassociated himself. He did it and didn't realize he was doing it.
Mm.
And then those puzzle pieces were all coming together as he got older, and that's what was causing him to have his headaches and his bouts with drinking, until he realized, my God, this is what I did. I did this. And Molly, in the meantime, always remembered it, and she wasn't getting validated by anybody. She
Mm-hmm.
even confronted Sean, and he didn't know what she was talking about.
Really?
Yeah.
So Molly achieved recovery successfully, and in Sean's case.
Sean was fine. He realized he did do these things pretty much, and Molly confronted him, and they actually talked about it. And they were both adults at this point, and he was so sorry that he hurt her like that.
Mm-hmm.
And although all the memories didn't come back to him, he believed her.
Mm-hmm.
He believed her that happened.
What has been the reaction of your readers in reading 2 weeks since our last confession?
I've had really good reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of people say thank you. This has been very helpful. I don't feel alone.
Right.
Every avenue that I've taken with this, with the abuse and the teenage pregnancy, the addiction, even talking about Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
There's a website, and I see a lot of Vietnam veterans have been reading this as well. And so it's been very good. And the book was dedicated to my brother-in-law, Paul, who died as a result of the Vietnam War. So I, was thought of him a whole lot.
When you say he died as a result of it,
well,
was he
no, he wasn't. He had a second tour of duty
mm-hmm.
over there.
Mm-hmm.
And when he came back a heroin addict.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't get better. He just couldn't get better.
How many years did it take you to write 2 weeks since our last confession?
It took me, let's see, about 7 years.
Really?
Yeah.
So there was
a lot of
research and a lot of probably soul
well, it was
searching
a lot
with
of
the characters.
it was a lot of research, and a few times I had to put it down.
Mm-hmm.
I had to really put the book down because it was difficult. Because although it's fiction, I had to face my own demons
mm-hmm.
while I was writing it.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of very difficult parts where I had to interview the offenders. I went to Bridgewater State Hospital, and I interviewed 2 sexual abuse offenders
mm-hmm.
that agreed to it. And, it was like, when Jesus dies on the cross, and there's those 2 thieves on either side.
The good thief and the bad thief.
Yeah, and one was so remorseful, and the other one could have cared less. Those were exactly what I ran into when I did the interview.
Those
Yeah, one was so sorry that he did hurt whoever he hurt, and the other one was like, I don't know why I'm here. I didn't really do anything that bad, so he wasn't facing up to it. So that was hard to write,
Mm-hmm.
and it brought up a lot of different feelings about my own abuser, and you know, the level, how much do I want to forgive? Is this something only God can forgive, or is this something that I should be doing and forgiving for my own benefit?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it took me so long. I had to put it down a few times. Plus, my own family of origin, my brothers and sisters weren't thrilled with me particularly writing on this.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a lot of support with my own family and friends. And I thought it would be more beneficial to go through with it and get it published than not.
Do you see the movie? The movie. Do you see the book becoming a movie at some point?
I would love for it to become a movie. That would be wonderful. It would
You have
be,
a lot of very good ingredients there, and a lot of things that people can relate to in terms of the characters and the
yeah,
stories and the issues that they face.
right.
It would seem to be very relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone bid on it, or are you shopping it around?
No, I haven't. We haven't gotten that far yet, but I'm sure we'll reach that point.
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking with Kate Genovese. She's the author of 2 weeks since our last
My
last confession.
Yeah. You
went
remember
out.
that from your
Yes,
confession
of
days,
course.
don't you?
Uh,
You were Catholic,
of
right?
course, I went not only every 2 weeks. Sometimes I went twice in the same week.
Well, yeah. It came because my mother would make us go every week, and then finally we talked her into making us only go every 2 weeks. So
I don't even think that the sacrament of confession or reconciliation, they call it now, is widely practiced in the Catholic Church.
yeah, I'm not sure. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure. I know that there still is confessionals,
Oh yes.
and they might have a general confession now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure about that.
A little less indicting.